Are you ready to embark on a journey of exploration and unlock the magic of your wonder? There is so much more in the universe than we have been shown. It is time to ask those questions, dissolve those barriers, and embrace your extraordinary life. Here is your fellow explorer in the realm of curiosity and discovery, with almost 20 years of inviting people to embrace the greatness of them, Donnielle Carter.
Welcome everybody, and so today we're talking about overthinking, and overthinking feels productive because your mind is busy, but busy and effective are not the same thing. What if overthinking is actually not helping you avoid mistakes, but keeping you from living your life? Yeah. Welcome to the Exploration of Wonder. I am your host and fellow explorer, Donnielle Carter, and today is a very personal topic to me because I overthink really dynamically well. Anybody else? Yeah, I know you are because you're here. But I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, and for nearly 20 years, I have worked with thousands of people exploring their body's belief, energies, and how their perspectives and points of view shape their lives. And so, overthinking. Overthinking is the endless replay, the analyzing, the second guessing, the what if spirals, the past, present, future what if spirals, right? The imaginary arguments. Anybody else ever done that? Oh, I am so good at it. I used to blame it on well, I'm such a good writer that I can always think of these scenarios. But it just was keeping me not present in my life. How many of you as well? So the conversations, we also do this where it's the conversations where we think we should have done something differently, whether it was yesterday, weeks ago, or in the future. How many of us are already judging or analyzing the conversations we haven't even had yet? Yeah, okay. The human brain is fascinating. The more I study it, the more I learn about it, I'm just like, wow. The fact that we walk and talk and breathe every day, it's impressive. It is dynamically impressive. And that we communicate at all. How we don't just walk around constantly miscommunicating. And if you think we do, let's have a conversation because it might be an interesting one. Anyways, so, but with overthinking, somehow we have convinced ourselves that thinking about something repeatedly is the same thing as solving it. I mean, really, think of the last moment you did overthinking, whether it was this morning, yesterday, or 5 seconds ago. We think we're solving it, right? What's the purpose of it, dwelling on it? Because we think we're solving it? We think we're making it better? We think we're going to find a pathway where we didn't think we were an idiot, right? But in the meantime, our nervous system is in full panic. Our body is tense. We can't relax, and we are mentally circling the same drain over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, okay? So that's what we're exploring today, is why our brain gets trapped in these loops, how it affects our body, and then practical ways to calm the mind and move into action, right? And into presence. And that's really one of the keys to this, because if we are constantly living in our heads only, we're going to miss our lives. And yeah, how much of our lives have we been missing, replaying what we think we did wrong? Okay. So let me make a distinction right quick. Overthinking is not the same as problem solving. Okay. Big difference. And the distinction matters. Thinking can be useful. Reflection can be useful. Preparation can be useful. Awareness is very useful. But overthinking is usually repetitive. Okay? You are not gaining new information. If you're problem solving, if you're preparing or having an awareness, you're getting new information. So that's a big distinction. Overthinking, again, is that repetitive, and it's usually recycling the same fear from different angles. You know, how I said earlier, it's like you're trying to find a pathway to that conversation that you keep rethinking again and again, finding out like, okay, I didn't say the wrong thing. They're not mad at me. Eh. That's rumination, my friend. Okay. And rumination often masquerades as responsibility. Because we think, if we think about this enough, I will prevent mistakes. If I analyze this enough, I'll feel safe or not like an idiot. If I mentally prepare for every outcome, I can control what happens. Life doesn't work that way. How I wish it did, but it doesn't. There is no amount, please listen to this next sentence. There is no amount of thinking that eliminates uncertainty completely. And I've talked a lot on the show about to grow, you have to be willing to step into the unknown. So no amount of thinking eliminates uncertainty completely. Sorry. And how we get into overthinking is because our brain hates uncertainty. I've said that a lot. The brain is kind of lazy, not in that it won't do something, because trust me, it does a lot, but that it will not see the need to create a new pathway if it already has one that is working for it. And so the brain loves prediction, the patterns, the control. Certainty is those neural pathways, right? So if you've had a conversation or you fear a conversation, as an example, so when something feels unresolved, unclear, or emotionally uncomfortable, the brain keeps looping in an attempt to regain control. Except then we get caught in the loop, and the loop becomes the problem, okay? And often overthinking is related to anxiety, because as weird as the sentence is, anxiety wants safety. That's what a lot of anxiety is about. And the mind believes if I keep scanning for problems, maybe I can avoid the pain if I scan, right? This future overthinking. That's why overthinkers will often mentally be rehearsing disasters, future disasters. What if I fail? What if they get mad at me? What if I make the wrong choice? What if something goes wrong? And we do this, well, I must prepare. I have to do this, this, and this. Again, go back to that distinction I made at the beginning. Problem solving, absolutely, be prepared. If this happens, I need to go this direction. If this happens, I need to go this direction. But there's an expansion to that. There's a space of peace, of relief, of, whew, okay, that happens, I know what to do. If that happens, I know what to do. But overthinking loop is, oh my gosh, and what if I have thought of something that's not going to work? And what if those things that I think I thought of for plan A or B, it doesn't work? And then what do I do? That's the difference. If there is no space and expansion to your quote unquote preparation, you're not preparing, you're looping. Okay, you're overthinking. So, and because of this, the brain starts treating uncertainty, that uncomfortable, that unknown, as a state of emergency. And eventually your nervous system gets stuck in a heightened state. Welcome to modern society. And now your body is tense. Your sleep gets affected. Your concentration drops. You feel emotionally drained. You go to bed. You can't stop thinking. Yeah. And here's where it becomes fascinating, okay? So many people are so used to overthinking that silence becomes uncomfortable. Space becomes uncomfortable. Expanded relaxation becomes uncomfortable. Because their brain has been operating and their nervous system and their body has been operating like a 24-hour alarm system. People in the chat room, true, it is. We get so used to that heightened state that if we genuinely relax, we go, what's wrong? Something must be wrong because I don't have my heightened state of insanity. Okay? And, don't worry. I have tips. Like I said, I don't just like to give you a problem and they go, good luck. We look at the energy underneath and then I give you practical tips to help you shift it. So those are coming. But first I want to talk a little bit about The concept of perfectionism. It's amazing how no matter what subject I talk about, because I love talking about body image, and perfect comes up about that. I love talking about taking action, perfect comes up and about that. And then overthinking also comes up with perfectionism, because perfectionism says there is a perfect choice, there is a perfect response, and there is a perfect outcome. So the brain is trying to calculate life like a mathematical formula. So would you guys be willing to give up the concept of perfect? I mean, we don't even know what that is. And one person's perfect is another person's not. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. And they're like, oh my gosh, perfect vacation would be in the sun, on the beach, just doing nothing all day. And I'm like, wow, that sounds like horrible to me. I mean, I like the beach for a little bit, but I was born redheaded. I stay out in the sun too long, I burst into flames. Not just because I'm evil, but because of the redhead, right? So their perfect is not my idea of perfect. So there is no really perfect. So please just give up trying to be perfect, because it's a talk about an endless loop. If I haven't done a show on that, I will. All right. So you cannot think your way into a completely risk-free existence. Sorry. You can prepare, absolutely. And then random crap happens, okay? Perfectionism, listen to this. Perfectionism creates paralysis. It creates you being frozen. It creates non-action. And even more importantly, it puts you into reaction. So the quest for perfectionism takes you out of action and into reaction. It keeps you frozen. Because if every choice feels incredibly important, if every decision becomes emotionally loaded. So people spend hours choosing, worrying, replaying, doubting, not because they're incapable, but because they're terrified of it going wrong. And honestly, I'll say it this way. Overthinking is simply fear wearing intellectual clothing, which is interesting, right? Overthinking is fear, basically. It sounds productive, it sounds active, but it's often avoidance. Because for many of us, thinking feels safer than acting. Action, think about it. If I sit there and I worry about a conversation, I don't actually have to have the conversation, right? I don't have to have the vulnerability. If I'm worried about taking that action or launching a product or standing up for myself, that possibility is always in the future. I don't ever have to succeed, fail, or do anything in between. So action creates visible results, possibility, vulnerability, and much else. And that just kind of scares the hell out of us sometimes, right? Thinking lets you stand in the hypotheticals, the what ifs, the maybes, that somewhere along the way we thought we have decided makes us safer. It doesn't make us safer, it makes us frozen. Okay. And really quickly, what do we do with our body with this? Oh my gosh. Well, you've heard me say it, you've heard 1,000 people say it. Overthinking, like this kind of stuff, affects the body dynamically. Why? Because the body does not know the difference between real and imagined. Have you ever noticed that? You replay a conversation you had, you're right back there. You could start crying again. You get the sweats, the shakes, and every stressful scenario, you're going, oh my gosh, it's happening right now. My heart's beating. My chest is tight. Is shallow breathing, and my jaw's clenching, and suddenly I'm so tired, and I'm like, I have digestive issues, and I can't sleep. The body's constantly keeping score, okay? And so it's keeping score and hearing the mind's activity. And so your body's like, oh, here we are again. We're doing it. Okay, here we go. And this is why it's so important to calm the mind, because it's not just mental work. It's not just like, oh, I have to stay up, I'll stop my racing thoughts. Your body's dynamically affected. And then we wonder why we're always exhausted, right? Is physical work. And overthinking, I said this at the beginning, that overthinking keeps us from being present. And it does. Overthinking disconnects people from our present moments. You stop experiencing life directly and you start experiencing life through analysis. Ugh. And there is a huge difference between awareness and hypervigilance. Awareness observes, gets new information. Hypervigilance searches for danger because we've decided there is dangerous. One creates presence, the other creates exhaustion. Yeah. All right, my friend, we're going to go to our commercial break. And if you're enjoying this or topics like this, if you're enjoying the exploration of wonder, please do consider going to your favorite podcast platform and giving me a review, searching for the exploration of wonder and giving me a review, liking it, sharing it. It really helps growing podcasts like mine to reach people who need to know this information. All right, my friends, you are watching or listening to me, Donnielle Carter, on the Exploration of Wonder, and we're on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the exploration of wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Exploration of Wonder. I am your host and fellow explorer, Donnielle Carter. And if you have an idea or anything you would like to explore, I would like to explore it too. So drop me a line at hello@donnielle.com and let me know. And if there's anything that you think that I can contribute to you, it is time for a private chat, also known as a session. Please do check out my website, donnielle.com, and let's have a chat and see what can shift in your world. All right, so today we're talking about overthinking. Waha! And the difference of overthinking versus preparation, and what the brain does, what the body does. So let's talk now about some practical tips, ways to break this loop, okay? Because as we were talking about, the pattern matters, but interrupting the pattern is what shifts things. So, tip number 1, ask, is this useful or repetitive? Okay? This question alone can interrupt the spiraling. Am I actively solving something or am I mentally looping? Think about the last time you were caught up and kept replaying a conversation. Is it useful or are you just being repetitive? Okay? Because repetitive thoughts produce no clarity. Bingo. So you know then it's just repetitive. It's not being useful. Awareness breaks the automatic cycles. Okay? So just the awareness of it, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I know it sounds silly and simplistic because sometimes recognizing you're in the loop helps break the loop because you're like, ah, crap, that's what that energy is. So ask, is it useful or is this repetitive? Tip number 2, move your body. Movement interrupts mental looping. I've said it 1,000 times. This is why somatic therapy is growing and growing and growing. Okay. So walk, stretch, dance, clean something. If you need something to clean, let me know. I have a lot. Come on over. But go outside. Do something. Get up. It doesn't have to be a whole workout, but just move your body. Why? Because overthinking traps energy in the mind, in the body. Have you ever noticed that when you're stressed, when you're overthinking, you sit there still, but your entire universe is freaking out? Yeah, you may have a leg twitch or something. That's body trying to get the energy out. So move your body, okay? And some people think that they need to like settle down. No, move your body. Let that excess energy go, and it helps stop that loop. Number 3 is one I will avoid, so I highly recommend doing it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Say it into a record or something, right? Because here's what's interesting about the brain, because remember we talked about the body and the brain in this. The brain keeps recycling thoughts partly because it's afraid you'll forget something important. I must remember this lesson. I must remember not to do this again, say this again, act this way. Or if I'm preparing for something and I'm freaking out about the future, I need to remember this part or whatever. Write it down. Say it out loud. Get it out of your head so your brain could go, we've captured it. We got it. Okay. We can relax. Woo, relax. Okay. So instead of carrying 20,000 thoughts simultaneously, put them somewhere external so you do not have to hold everything mentally all at once. This one, when I first started playing with it, I'm like, please, whatever. It frickin' works, okay? Because I didn't realize how much I was overthinking, and all my clients, right? Overthinking because we were afraid we were going to miss something. So write it down. Then we have it. Then we can move on. Okay? It really helps break the loop. Number 4, limit decision time. Have you ever noticed that those moments when you have to make a decision really quickly, it works out just fine? Bingo. Okay? So if you're constantly going, hey, let me think about this forever, or pushing off a deadline because you need to think it more, prepare it more, prep for it more, it's not going to work because not every choice deserves 3 hours of analysis. Sometimes you just need a reasonable amount of information and then a choice. Action creates momentum, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get going. Okay? Action creates momentum. Indecision drains it. And the tip number 5 that I want you guys to really pay attention to. Shift from what if to what now. I know it sounds like it's just as simple, like, oh, you just change one word, but look at the energy of it. What if? What if I had said something different? What if I had written something different? What if I say this to this person and they react like this? What if, that's the loop. The what if will put you in the loop, creates fear spirals. What now, though, creates movement. Because, like, okay, let's say you had a bad conversation with somebody. You're like, well, what if they don't like me anymore? What if they want me to go away? What if, But look at that same conversation and go, okay, that conversation happened. What now? Now brings you back to the present moment. And then you're thinking forward. Then you're actually maybe in preparation, okay? Because overthinking usually lives in imagined future. Action lives in the now. And what now gets you there, okay? Shift from what if to what now. The conversation happened. The future presentation's going to occur. What now? Not what if, what now, okay? One word distinction, world of difference. Sorry, I hit my mic on the replay. That might sound bad. Sorry. And one more thing. Stop trying to control everything, says the control freak. I know. There's moments we need to take control, but there's a difference in being like trying to control everything, because a lot of overthinking is attempt to control uncertainty, but uncertainty is just a part of being alive. As much as it pains me to say, because I would love it to be different, we cannot control every outcome, every opinion, and every possibility, every misunderstanding, or every future event, okay? There is freedom in recognizing you do not need to be absolutely certain to move forward. What you need is willingness. Willingness to learn, to adjust, to trust yourself enough to respond when life happens, because life will happen, okay? Overthinking assumes if anything goes wrong, I won't be able to handle it. But you can. You absolutely, absolutely can. And take those actions, my friend, because action actually calms the mind. It can be scary, but then it gets you out of the loop. And it doesn't make the scary thing necessarily go away, but it takes you from that what if into what now. And then you get to be calmer. You get to be forward momentum instead of a gerbil on a tread or one of those spinning wheels, right? And just that will relax your life. It may not make the scary thing go away, but you will get that momentum, because often the anticipation is worse than the reality. Have you ever noticed that? I just did a great YouTube video on it. Go check that out too if you want me to talk about that, if you want to hear about that for a full 15 minutes. But overthinking creates imaginary monsters. But most of the time the action creates, oh, well, that was manageable. Might have sucked. Might have not been easy. But it was manageable. Okay? Because you can do it, my friend. Overthinking tends to convince us that the more thinking will eventually create peace. Peace rarely comes from endless analysis, okay? Peace comes from presence, trust of yourself, of others, movement, breathing, yes, action, and allowing uncertainty to exist without treating it like danger. I did a whole video on being able to step into the unknown. Go check that out as well. But your brain is designed to think, so that's not the problem. The problem is when thinking becomes disconnects us from living. You do not need to solve your entire future tonight. You do not need every answer before you begin. And you do not need to be perfect before you move forward. Just need to... The moment you stop trying to control every possible outcome, you finally will begin to experience your life again. I know, a lot. Please watch this show again, because there was so much information in there and I went really quick trying to get it all out. So you've been watching or listening to The Exploration of Wonder with me, your host, Donnielle Carter. You can find me on my website at donnielle.com. And until we play again, have a fun, magical week. Be back next week. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for exploring with us today. Donnielle returns Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Pacific. Until then, be curious, be wonder, and explore the magical universe around you.